With a treasure trove of Xbox titles available on Game Pass at your fingertips, many games demand a significant time commitment. But for busy gamers, we've carefully selected the top 20 games on Xbox Game Pass that you can conquer in a weekend. Get ready for quick and intense adventures. Number 20 on our list is Firewatch. For those looking for something adventurous, albeit a bit strange, should check out this mysterious walking simulator. Set in a national forest, players are a lookout station in a watchtower. They find themselves alone within the dense foliage, only periodically running into other people. Their only real human connection is their walkie-talkie-bound supervisor, who generally gives players some guidance on how to move forward. Firewatch's visual style and eerie quietness give way to a tense and uncomfortable atmosphere that builds throughout the short campaign. Narratively, the game touches upon some mature themes without feeling the need to spoon-feed the audience, all while still delivering a cohesive story. Firewatch does not have much replay value, so a single 4-hour playthrough should be enough for most people. Number 19 is Inside. Inside is generally regarded as one of the greatest games of the 2010s, and time has done nothing to alter that perspective. Set within a sci-fi horror world, this surreal masterpiece largely resists the urge to spoon-feed its narrative or themes to players, encouraging them to come to their conclusions. Inside's gameplay is simple but effective. More importantly, it perfectly complements the game's story, soundtrack, and visuals. Inside is not only one of the best short games on Xbox Game Pass, but also one of the service's best titles in general. Number 18 is Somerville. Coming from one of the creative forces behind Inside, Somerville is very much cut from the same cloth as that masterpiece. An atmospheric adventure game that utilizes environmental storytelling rather than discourse, this 2022 release finds Earth besieged by aliens, an invasion that quickly devastates the planet. Telling a smaller-scale personal quest, Somerville focuses on a father who is simply trying to keep his family alive during this testing time. The gameplay largely consists of basic platforming and puzzles, and while these elements are handled well, they are in service of the game's tone, presentation, and emotion. Number 17 is Maneater, a shark simulation game that may not seem like a fiercely competitive niche to dive into, but it offers a compelling concept. The game immerses you in the role of a shark seeking revenge after the producers of a shark hunting television program injure her and kill her mother. However, to grow large enough to exact your razor-toothed vengeance, you must evolve and unlock new abilities by consuming fish and occasionally humans, of course. Throughout the 8-hour gameplay, you'll face various challenges in your violent aquatic pursuits, from other predators to shark-hunting bounty hunters who aim to thwart your blood-soaked objective. Yet, perseverance is essential for a shark's survival in all endeavors. Overall, Maneater presents a unique simulation concept that is definitely worth exploring. Number 16 is Plan of Lana, a story-driven platformer named after its protagonist. With her home under siege by aliens, Lana teams up with a cute mascot to save her planet, embarking on a journey that takes them through a variety of stunning locations while evading the enemy's watchful gaze. Plan of Lana moves at a deliberately slow pace, focusing on its narrative and puzzles, which might not align with the expectations of players anticipating a traditional 2D platformer. This short and simple adventure offers an engaging narrative featuring memorable characters and breathtaking visuals. Plan of Lana can be completed within 5 hours, making it a suitable time investment for this style of project. Number 15 is Sea of Solitude. Adrift at sea, Kay floats on a small boat surrounded by the remains of a city, which largely exists beneath the waves. Throughout her 3-hour journey, the protagonist periodically interacts with a few entities, most of which are echoes of people from her real life. They challenge Kay's mental fortitude, forcing her to face past trauma, tragedies, and failings. Sea of Solitude tells a deeply personal tale that could hit home for many players. The gameplay, while not awful, is secondary to the story and themes. Consequently, if the latter does not strike a chord with someone, the game can fall slightly flat. That said, there are more than enough strong elements here to make that risk worth taking. Number 14 is Rollerdrome. If you've ever wanted a mix of Doom Eternal's frenetic gunplay with the combo stacking tricks of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Rollerdrome was made for you. The game isn't particularly long, lasting only 5 hours. However, investing time to master the skills that Rollerdrome requires is where the whole experience shines. While Rollerdrome can offer a fun and quick arcade-like experience, it's also an homage to replayability, daring you to return to arenas for another go. Rollerdrome offers a uniquely satisfying challenge that's difficult to put into words. Trust us when we say it's an absolutely rad experience. Number 13 is Dordogne. Boasting a gorgeous visual art style and a moving slice-of-life story, Dordogne follows Mimi as she visits her recently deceased grandmother's house. Once there, she begins to experience flashbacks to her childhood summer spent in this town, a journey that proves enlightening as Mimi suffers from amnesia, leaving her unable to remember anything before her 13th birthday. Dordogne offers a heartfelt and calming 4-hour experience. Mimi's childhood adventures are small and mundane, largely consisting of easy-to-solve puzzles. However, they complement the story being told. Number 12 is Gears of War Ultimate Edition, a remaster and re-release of the original Gears of War. Players can experience the first entry in this iconic franchise with updated graphics and gameplay improvements. The game features fantastic cover-based shooting mechanics, outrageous action set pieces, and chaotic vehicle sequences. Additionally, the game truly shines when played with a friend. 2 players can lancer their way to a gritty victory against the Locust. If you're looking for a thrilling short experience to while away an evening or two, you can't go wrong here. Number 11 is Quantum Break. Upon its release, the game failed to receive widespread praise from the gaming community. It includes live-action, full-length TV show episodes that bookend each chapter, seemingly driven more by business decisions than creative direction. Nevertheless, Quantum Break excels in terms of impressive visuals, enjoyable superpowers for experimentation, and a fun storyline that generally lasts around 10 hours, making it one of the standout short adventures on Game Pass. If you've enjoyed this video so far, please give it a thumbs up to spread the joy. Number 10 is Bramble the Mountain King, an indie darling that follows a child as he travels through a magical forest to save his missing sister. Bramble the Mountain King plays out like a dark fairy tale inspired by Nordic mythology, and the game does an impeccable job of bringing to life figures from these stories. Along with being quite terrifying at times, these creatures are presented with respect and depth, feeling like they belong in this world rather than just coming across as intruders. Bramble is a fascinating and straightforward puzzle stealth project that generally tasks players with staying out of the monster's views. Each character you meet on your 4-hour Nordic expedition is wonderfully designed and will instantly capture your imagination. Number 9 is Resident Evil 3. Another Resident Evil remake has graced our Xbox Game Pass library, and although Resident Evil 3 may not receive as much praise as Resident Evil 2 Remake, it's still a nicely polished affair for fans of the series to enjoy. This time around, we play as Jill Valentine right as Raccoon City falls into a zombie-filled shambles. Just like the predecessor, Jill has her own T-virus monstrosity following her every move. Nemesis is a gargantuan threat that relentlessly pursues Jill, and whenever he's on screen, you must give him every ounce of your attention to avoid Jill's demise. Resident Evil 3 is often criticized for being a very short experience, but that can work to its advantage. Sometimes we don't need a game that lasts dozens of hours. Sometimes we just want a game that's refined and intense without overstaying its welcome. Number 8 is A Way Out, a co-op title that offers everything you could desire, capturing the explosive flair of a delightfully cheesy action flick. The narrative may be over the top and silly at times, but that's precisely what makes it so enjoyable. 2 players will work together to fight their way out of prison and embark on a revenge-filled quest. Throughout the 8-hour gameplay, they'll encounter charmingly competitive minigames that add excitement to the buddy cop vibe. A Way Out provides an amazing and nostalgic short experience uniquely designed for 2 players to work together in any situation. Its originality and uniqueness make it a must-play for co-op adventure fans. Number 7 is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, a game that offers an experience like no other. It skillfully captures the trials of living with psychosis while delivering a compelling narrative. You assume the role of Senua, a warrior on a quest to lay her lover's soul to rest by embarking on a journey to Helheim. Her path is fraught with hardship as the voices she hears in her own head plague her with doubts and fragments of advice. Hideous hallucinations shadow every step Senua takes, making her quest difficult and often prompting you to question its worth. However, it ultimately culminates in one of the most satisfying endings in gaming history. The game's story offers around 8 hours of enjoyment. Number 6 is As Dusk Falls. If you're looking for a short narrative game that diverges from the horror titles of the Dark Pictures anthology, As Dusk Falls is the perfect choice. This fantastic game focuses on the winding choices and tough decisions of desperate people in dire situations. While it doesn't introduce groundbreaking mechanics, playing As Dusk Falls is an undeniably enjoyable experience that transcends a forgettable narrative. It is sure to leave a lasting impression on you. In this game, up to 7 players can embark on the story of a motel holdup gone wrong, although it can also be played solo. Through collaborative decision-making and joint performance of quick-time events, all players have a say in the desired outcomes, resulting in a mix of tension and hilarity. Offering 7 hours of excitement, As Dusk Falls serves as a prime example of a narrative-driven game. Number 5 is Resident Evil 2, a remake that stands out among its peers for its exceptional polish, innovation, and attention to detail. Unlike many game remakes, Resident Evil 2 completely revitalized the original, transforming it from a fixed camera angle horror game into a tense, behind-the-shoulder experience that balances nerve-wracking tension with satisfying gameplay. In this remake, players can step into the shoes of either Leon Kennedy or Claire Redfield as they navigate the iconic Raccoon City police station in search of safety and answers. The corridors are infested with shambling zombies, urging players to explore meticulously, gather resources for survival. Every new room brings the threat of death, especially with the looming presence of Mr. X and his relentless pursuit. For horror fans seeking a deeper dive, Resident Evil 2 offers a fantastic 9-hour campaign brimming with atmosphere and suspense. Number 4 is Juson, a title entirely dedicated to climbing. The adventure game aims for players to enjoy their beautiful ascent while subtly learning more about the fascinating world they find themselves in. The campaign follows a climber tasked with reaching the top of a massive tower while carrying a child who can bring water back to a populace facing scarcity. While the story takes a backseat for lengthy stretches, it remains quite interesting, and the game does an admirable job of immersing players in a relatively unique universe with a long history. Juson features fairly straightforward core mechanics and controls, though the challenge lies in combining these skills during the climb. Without a doubt, this is a must-play for those seeking a short, immersive experience. Number 3 is Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2's relatively understated presence in the FPS genre is more than a bit puzzling because it was the object of significant critical acclaim upon release, and its die-hard fanbase has quietly asserted that it's handily one of the most solid shooters to have ever hit the market for years since. Frankly, they've got a lot going on to support that opinion. The game boasts a fantastic campaign that clocks in around 6 hours, weaving a compelling sci-fi tale around Pilot Cooper and his grumpy giant robot companion. Big mechs and wall-running mechanics go a long way on their own, but Respawn's take on the FPS formula just feels polished in a way that many contemporary shooters don't. Number 2 is Sunset Overdrive. Insomniac has spent recent years crafting superhero-themed adventures featuring everyone's favorite neighborhood wall crawler. But Marvel's Spider-Man was not the developer's first foray into open-world territory. Sunset Overdrive might be one of the more underrated titles of the 2010s, and its brilliant movement system ranks it among the best open-world games on Game Pass. Essentially a large playground, Sunset City is filled with rails and zip lines, encouraging players to take to the skies and grind their way above the streets. The gunplay is also enjoyable, particularly once players unlock their full arsenal of weapons. Sunset Overdrive throws you into a fast-paced, acrobatic world filled with creative challenges, all within a short 10-hour runtime when focusing on the main story. Number 1 on our list is Cocoon, a creative puzzle game that casts players as an insect traveling to different worlds by entering orbs. While the main hub area is primarily a wasteland, players periodically come across spheres that contain their own universes, essentially acting as separate stages. With each world boasting a unique aesthetic, discovering an orb is always exciting, especially since the actual gameplay is fantastic. Alongside well-paced puzzles, Cocoon also emphasizes exploration, allowing players to move at their own pace and take detours if they wish. Although this freedom can extend a playthrough by a few hours, the game is still relatively short, lasting only 5 hours. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.